So in about 2017, I had a neuromuscular specialist at the University of Kansas diagnosed me with a rare form of muscular dystrophy. I had extreme fatigue. I was sleepy for 12 plus hours a day. I had massive nerve and muscular pain in my legs, making it difficult to walk, take stairs, that type of thing. Was told not to exercise because it could degenerate my muscles further. My pain got progressively worse year over year. I was on all kinds of medications. Doctors would try to do whatever they could to get me out of pain. But I ended up leaving my restaurant career. I've been in for 40 years, doctor's orders to focus on some healing. But the pain and the leg cramps kept worsening. So that put me in massive depression, anxiety issues, felt really hopeless there for a long time. Applied for Social Security benefits not long after we moved to Oklahoma in July of 22. So I had that, all of that kind of just progressed into this huge depression for me. And I hate to say this, but I will, but I could understand why people take their own lives, because you get to a point you're just like, I can't do this anymore. So my wife, Tammy, who was in the pharmaceutical industry, found these patches, and she was like, I want you to start wearing them. And I'm like, what's a patch going to do for me, right? That was my idea. I was like, okay, I don't know, but I'm going to try it because I will do anything to feel better. So I started taking X39 and Eon. And at first I didn't really notice anything, but I did what any good husband would do. And I said, yes, ma'am, I'll keep taking these, and we'll see what happens, right? So around August, I noticed my legs were not cramping as much as they used to be, and I was feeling less tired. And I started to get a little hope. I started to feel a little bit better. And so I contacted the Social Security attorney and stopped my disability application. So that was a big plus for me, because I actually got to take my dog out for a walk. I could play with my grandkids again. I could do these things that I could not do before. So I stopped taking so many energy drinks because I was loading up on caffeine to get through the day. About 4 or 5 months in, I discontinued my gabapentin and just chose to do that because I'm like, I'm feeling better. I'm going to stop taking one of my pain pills and see what happens. So I did that, and then probably 6 months into it, I was taking tramadol like candy. I was doing a 300 milligram extended release every day, plus I had 50s for breakthrough pain. Well, I don't take the 50s anymore. Dropped my tramadol down to 200, and to probably almost to the point of stopping taking the tramadol as well, because awesome. I don't really feel the pain anymore. So 7 or 8 months into it, I noticed I got this little hair growth, which is kind of cool, because I had a big bald spot. I don't have a bald spot anymore. Makes me happy. So and then in September, about 9 months into it, in September, I took a job for a place called Tidal Wave Auto Spa, and it is a top of the line car wash. And we were expected to work while we're there. So it's a very physical job. We work 10 to 12-hour days, and 5 to 6 days a week. And so I've actually really been very successful in that since September, and I feel great. I mean, there are days I'm tired, but I'm tired because I work so much, but I don't have pain anymore. I can think better. I feel better. My depression is pretty much gone. I don't have so much anxiety anymore. And life is just a whole lot better. Yeah.
Well, just as a quick background, I I've had systemic lupus since I was 30 years old. So I've always been kind of immune compromised because of the medications they've had me on and because of the disease itself. But I actually developed several cases of COVID and developed a pretty bad case of long COVID. And later they told me it was, I had developed microvascular blood clots in my lungs and in my brain. So I had terrible brain fog, terrible headaches. I got to the point where I couldn't drive anymore. So my employer placed me on medical leave. I ended up staying on medical leave for 9 months. I had widespread pain and inflammation, terrible fatigue. I was having a lot of chest pain and difficulty breathing. And then at one point they did discover that I had pericarditis. So my oxygen levels were low, my blood pressure was high, my resting heart rate was high. I mean, I was a mess. Like Brian, I really thought that was going to be the rest of my life. I thought that brain fog would never go away. And Lisa Rillo actually introduced me to the patches. The very first day that I put a patch on, I woke up with a headache. I put Eon and X39, and within about 15 minutes, my headache was gone. And I thought, wow, okay, there must be something to this. That night, I slept like a baby. I mean, better than I had slept in probably 10 years. My joint inflammation and my joint pain stopped pretty quickly, really by the end of the first month of being on the patches. By month 2, my migraine headaches, which I was having almost daily, were non-existent. My chest pain was gone by month 3. I was starting to exercise more because I didn't have the chest pain and the shortness of breath anymore. Let's see. Shortly after that, I was back to walking my dog 3 to 5 miles a day. That was a big deal because I got to the point where I couldn't walk him at all for several months. I spent most of my time indoors. And really, as time went on, I mean, my lungs kept feeling clearer. It was easier to breathe, especially, when I was laying down, I could breathe, which I had a lot of difficulty with that while I had the pericarditis. My mental clarity came back at about month 6. I was so thankful. I kept seeing these glimmers of hope that it was going to get better because slowly it was getting better, but then suddenly it's like someone flipped on a light switch about month 6 for me. And really by month 7, all of my neurological issues were gone. All of it was gone. Wow. Awesome. And really after that, it just kept getting better. I did see my cardiologist for a follow-up during my 10th month of being on the patches, and everything was back to normal. And the cardiologist basically said that when he saw the patch on my neck, he asked about it, and I told him that it actually helped increase copper peptide. And as soon as I said the word copper peptide, his face just lit up. And he said, Tammy, anything that targets a peptide is really the wave of the future. So it's that made me happy that he was on board with it. And from then on, I mean, everything's just continues to get better month over month.
But Brian, how long have you been patching?
I have been patching for
almost a year. You're about 11 months right now.
Yeah, getting close to a year.
And okay, I mean, it's just amazing. Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I am 56.
Okay, and Tammy, how old are you?
I am about to turn 63.
Oh wow, we all look amazing. I mean, absolutely, amazing. And everybody's asking, and you don't have to give like a huge synopsis, but of course, when you share a story like this, both of you, I mean, what a blessing. But what patches are you using? That's what they want to know. Just really brief, just kind of just run through that.
So we both started off with Eon and X39. Shortly after that, I would use the energy patches, especially if I knew I was going for a long walk. I would put this on. But really, for the most part, it is X39 and Eon. I started wearing Alavita a couple months ago, so I've noticed that things are looking better on my forehead and on my face. And Brian,
I've been using X49. I'm a little accident prone, so I broke my foot probably a couple months ago, and put an X49 on my foot every day, and took my boot off after the first week, but and feel really good actually. So it's been pretty impressive.
Wow.
So we did both just recently add X49 to our regimen, as he said. And then I wear glutathione. I watch my grandkids a lot. And when they come over here with their sniffly noses, I'm slapping that glutathione patch on. And it's actually helped me dodge quite a few bullets around those kiddos.
I absolutely love that. And I can't thank you guys enough for sharing like you have, because Brian, I think for a lot of people in the genre age that we are, and Tamara, I'm about the same age you are. We grew up hearing about MD in a totally different place, and to come where we are now. And I want to remind everybody, we're not here to cure, diagnose, or treat anyone. We're not here to do that, but when you hear a story of this magnitude, I find it just extremely, it just blows me away. Yeah. Because that is science and tech and future and where we're going. And I admire you both for coming on here and sharing, because you've touched a lot of people's lives today, or maybe lives that they know themselves. And I just, I want to really thank you for sharing. But you guys, I'm really excited to share with you. And I do want you to know that when we're done here this evening, I would like for you to get back with the person that invited you, because they're going to be able to share with you, as you have a conversation of what you've got going on, the best things and the best way to get you started. But let me share a little bit of this with you. So as you can see, the patch that everybody keeps referencing is about the size of a quarter, right? And we're all used to patches. We see them everywhere. We hear them everywhere. But this patch is a little different. This patch is non-transdermal, meaning nothing is going in the skin. I think we're all used to hearing about transdermal patches. The patches that have a substance or an herb or a chemical of some sort on the patch. And when you peel it apart, you put the patch on the skin, and something's actually penetrating through the skin, entering the body, and going to work doing the things that it's promised you it's going to do. This patch is a little different. There's nothing going in. So I want to assure you all that there's no contraindication to anything that you might be doing. If you're taking a pharmaceutical or supplementation or a certain diet, I want you to understand that there's absolutely no interference whatsoever. So I have peeled the backing off the patch that you saw me holding. And if you'll notice, it's very sticky on one side because it's stuck to my thumb, very smooth on the other side. But you've probably noticed in the middle of the patch, about the size of a dime, is a little white piece of gauze. And it's just sandwiched in between two polymer shells. Okay, very simple. Like I said, like a Band-Aid. But within this gauze is the proprietary blend our CEO, our founder, and scientist behind this technology, David Schmidt, has personally invented. Now, I know a lot of you might be saying, like, I'm hearing all these things this evening. Why am I just now hearing about this? Well, that's why you were invited to hear about this. However, We're not a young company. We are a 20-year-old company. It's just that this X39, this particular patch, has only been in the marketplace for a little over 4 years. And I want you to know, as you listen to how this works tonight, we have 90 clinical studies that will show you, if you would like to go read them, as well as over 130 patents